UFC 314 is coming to Miami, Florida on April 12th, and let me tell you, the anticipation is building. But first, we've got to talk about something that's really stirring up the MMA community. Dana White's decision at UFC 313 has fans absolutely furious. Also, Alex Pereira seems to have this brilliant strategy heading into his fight against Magomed Ankalaev. It's honestly genius when you think about it. But get this, instead of being locked away in training camp, Pereira's been spotted living his best life in New York City, handing out Rolex watches on the streets. Can you believe it? Free Rolex. Thank you, I appreciate it. In another corner of the UFC universe, Alexander Volkanovski has made a bold claim, naming Ilya Topuria as the biggest threat to Islam Makhachev, but many hardcore fans completely disagree with him. So without further ado, let's dive right into these stories. With just under 10 days left until UFC 313, Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev are entering the final stages of their preparation. Both fighters should be fine-tuning strategies and conditioning for what promises to be an absolutely thrilling matchup. But here's where it gets interesting. Pereira has come up with this incredibly clever no-lose strategy that controls the narrative in his favor, no matter how the fight ends. And I'm going to tell you exactly why this is so brilliant. Magomed Ankalaev and his team arrived in Las Vegas way back in early February. They've been there for weeks, fully adjusting to the environment and focusing entirely on the fight. It's crystal clear that Ankalaev is all in and ready for this title bout. Everything seems perfectly on track for him. On the other hand, Pereira's preparation has left a lot of fans completely baffled. For starters, the fight was only officially announced at the end of January, giving Pereira just 7 weeks to prepare. That's barely any time, especially when you're up against someone like Ankalaev, who's likely to rely heavily on wrestling. We've seen Pereira struggle with wrestlers before. Jan Blachowicz gave him serious trouble, and even non-wrestlers like Israel Adesanya have exposed some of his weaknesses. If Pereira spends 25 minutes on his back against Ankalaev, it's not going to end well for him. Sure, fans might not love a wrestling-heavy win for Ankalaev, but at the end of the fight, all that matters is whose hand gets raised. And right now, it seems like Pereira might be more focused on enjoying life than training. He's been spotted handing out free Rolexes on the streets of New York, which has many people wondering if he's even taking this fight seriously. But think about this clever angle. If Alex Pereira loses this fight, critics will immediately say Pereira wasn't prepared at all, so of course he lost to Ankalaev. But if he wins, people will be saying Pereira wasn't even fully prepared and he still destroyed Ankalaev. Either way, it's an incredibly smart strategy for Pereira to set up the narrative in his favor no matter the outcome. Could Ankalaev be the one to bring Pereira back to reality and remind him to focus on the gym? We'll find out very soon. But what do you think?
Da galera, os fãs, todo mundo que acompanha aí nosso trabalho, né? Pô, a gente tem que fazer alguma coisa, deixar as pessoas mais felizes. Isso aqui eu tenho certeza que vai deixar. Se alguém chega com um presente assim pra mim, porra, velho, não fica como? É boludo. Sai boludo. Oh, thank you, bro. For you or for her? For her. That's it. That's the right answer. Open that and enjoy. I just fucking walk all the way over here for you. Yeah, that's why I give to you. I know you just ran over here. I didn't fucking know. You got a historic photo, us three. Hell yeah. Bro, get it. Don't stop. Nice, get it. Chama! No, they're not going.
You boxing? Chama or no chama?
Chama, my brother.
Chama?
Yeah.
Grappling?
Chama, yeah. Chama.
When Ilya Topuria announced his move to lightweight, many expected an epic showdown between him and Makhachev at International Fight Week. However, the UFC has yet to announce the fight, and now it's becoming clear why. Jack Della Maddalena could be the key to Islam's future plans. If Maddalena defeats Muhammad at UFC 315 on May 10th, the welterweight title picture could suddenly open up for Makhachev.
Right now, what is even happening at lightweight? You know, there's Islam, because Islam, we know Islam wants to move up. Then you've got the Belal situation. You know what? Jack Della wins that fight. Islam's moving up. Let's be real. Islam's moving up straight away.
Since Ilya's moving up, what do you think he should be his first fight?
I think he should fight Islam Makhachev. I think when you knock out two guys like that, two first ballot Hall of Famers, 100% does he deserve it. They had mentioned Arman Sarukin, they denied it because Arman is nitty gritty, man. They want to take the chances of fighting Islam Makhachev and trying to defeat him. And I tell you what, man, if Islam cannot take Ilya down, or if he doesn't take him down early, dude, it could be very problematic for a guy like Islam Makhachev because Ilya Topuria, he level changes his striking. He goes high, he goes low. Islam Makhachev has that quote at the UFC PI, anybody, anytime, anywhere. It's just up to the UFC to say, all right, man, this is a date.
Meanwhile, Volkanovski sees Topuria as the biggest threat capable of knocking out Makhachev. However, many passionate fans strongly disagree with him. In his interview with Ariel Helwani, Volkanovski said,
The thing is with Ilya, he is a dangerous fighter and he can catch anyone. You know, if he goes there and he's stoic and he's, you know, even if the fight's not going his way, he will not eventually get it, but he's going to keep trying to find it. You know, them later rounds are going to get harder for him, but, you know, if he was to land, he could definitely knock him out. I think that's going to be hard to do. I think, Islam's a pretty safe fighter. I think the scrambling stuff, even if Ilya's takedown defense is solid, I still think them exchanges are going to be better off for Islam. But you can't count Ilya's power out. You know, them hands. You know, he's going to be looking for that shot. Them early rounds, he's going to be very dangerous.
So, what do you think about Volkanovski's statement? Write your thoughts in the comments, and let's move on to our next hot topic. The MMA world is absolutely not happy with Dana White's decision at UFC 313.
This is when all the good shit goes down, when I'm at the Ultimate Fighter. Some of you already know, but the new co-main event for March 8th, UFC 313 here in Las Vegas, is going to be Gaethje versus Fiziev. Gaethje, I don't know how much I got to sell Gaethje to you. 13 performance bonuses in 13 fights. 20 of his 25 wins are by knockout. And Fiziev, in his last fight, was cut short due to an unfortunate knee injury. But prior to that, Fiziev had 6 straight performances.
Many fans immediately reacted to Dana White's statement. The user King UFC commented under the video, "Nobody cares to see FFEV, Dana, come on." David Asher wrote, "How about Justin versus Silva, and FFEV can murder Bryce?" Another fan named Lucas added, "Weak fight as a co-main event. 313 is mid as hell now. Guess Pereira will have to save another event." But another fan questioned, why are people hating on FFEV? He's like Gaethje 2.0, but slightly worse because he lost to him. I agree with that last point. Why are people so against this fight? I think it's going to be an absolutely great matchup. Both fighters are in must-win situations, and they'll definitely bring everything they've got to secure the victory. This decision raised serious questions as contenders like Sarukan and Max Holloway were available. According to Justin Gaethje, multiple fighters including Olera, Moano, Puer, Holloway, and Sarukan turned down the fight on short notice. However,
Fiziev, I never heard Gamrot. I think, the UFC trying to make a replacement for Dan Hooker, they never considered Gamrot. That's a very different fight, different night. But I think for me, off the top of the list was Oliveira and Sarukian, because those are the guys that are ranked ahead of me, the number 1, number 2 contenders, and they're the guys that if I get a win over them, I get to go exactly where I want to go, and that's fight Makhachev. Moicano said he would fight, and then after that, being that I'm getting ready for a fight, I have to say yes to anybody, and this being me being the number 3 guy in the world, it's a big business, and I had to really rely on my coach and my manager to make that decision for me.
However, Khan tells a completely different story. He claims he accepted the fight immediately, but requested a 160-pound catch weight since it was just 11 days before weigh-ins. The UFC reportedly denied this option. Sarukan also insists that his back issues are completely resolved after working with a specialist, and he's ready to return with his ultimate goal still being the UFC title. Eye pokes have long been a controversial issue in the UFC, often changing the course of fights more dramatically than head kicks or submissions. Chael Sonnen recently took to Instagram to call out this ongoing problem, sharing footage from Henry Cejudo's fight against Song Yadong.
Assault eye pokes today. Cover the glove. There is a glove what will cover the fingertips. If your finger goes straight, it's still a rounded glove. I fought for 22 years as a professional. 51 men, 5 days a week we sparred. Of all those rounds, of all that sparring, I never touched anybody's eye. But it is about my hand. Why does my hand not go into the eye? If you want something to go away, you punish it different. There's only 2 rules in the sport. Don't kick the son of a bitch when he's down, and don't poke him in the eye. If you do either, it's a disqualification, or quit talking about it and accept that it's part of the sport.
After the fight, Henry Cejudo called out referee Jason Herzog, blaming his loss at UFC Seattle entirely on the eye poke. That's all.
Jason Herzog? Yo, what's up, Jason?
Sorry, man. Sorry, no problem.
One, you didn't take a point, and then 2, when I took the 5-minute break, and we ended up coming back to actually fight, like I still wasn't recovered, but that dude still came here, and you didn't do anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Luckily I couldn't see, or at least I saw four arms, but you never warned him, or you never took away a point, dude. Like,
all for today's UFC news update. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.